One of the most successful entrepreneurs in America over the past 50 years is going public with his fourth and final prediction about a scenario he calls America's nightmare winter. You've probably never heard of Bill Bonner, but in addition to owning an interest in businesses all over the globe, he also owns more than 100,000 acres with massive properties in South America, Central America, the US, plus 3 large properties in Europe. Bonner says we're about to enter a very strange period in America, which could result in the most difficult times we've seen in many, many years. Bonner has made 3 similar predictions in his 50-plus year career, and each one proved to be exactly right, although he was mocked each and every time. This is why I strongly encourage you to read about Bonner's fourth and final prediction totally free today. It's all spelled out in a free report we've put together about America's nightmare winter scenario. Get the facts for yourself. Go to americasnightmarewinter.com to get your free copy of this report. Even if he's only partially right, it will dramatically affect you and your money. So again, go to americasnightmarewinter.com for this free report. Hi, this is Daniela Cambone. Welcome back to the Daniela Cambone Show. Still here in Boston, now joined by Eric Wade, editor of Crypto Capital and one of the most sought-after gurus in the space. For real, Eric, I'm not just saying that.
You're too kind.
My friends are always like, what's Eric really
You're
like?
too kind.
And I'm like, he's awesome.
Thank you.
You know, it's been a long time since we last spoke. Like, you need to come on.
Has anything interesting happened?
I think
since
so.
then?
I think so. So let me build the storyboard here. You were on in January. Bitcoin was hovering around 50,000. We're now basically cut in half, right?
Yeah.
At the time, you told me your heart and soul, you were part BTC Maxi.
Yeah. I am. So if there's such a thing as a left brain, right brain,
Right.
if there's a yin and a
You
yang
were
or something.
really-
And I get a lot of grief for this actually online, is that people challenge me on, when are you going to become a maxi?
Yeah.
And are you only talking about these other ones because you have to, et cetera.
Right.
That's a fair criticism. And any criticism in blockchain is
Yes.
fair criticism. Yes. With a good piece of my brain, I'm a maxi. The space that Bitcoin occupies, absolutely. But I also like gold, and you actually mentioned that to me. You challenged me on that once as well. Which one is it, Bitcoin or gold?
Right.
But I can't get away from the idea that decentralized ledger technology, that anyone who wants to fire up an Ethereum node or write a program for it, or anybody who wants to participate in any of these other blockchains can. And there's so much technology potential out there. So I'm a maxi with the portion that needs to be maxi, and Bitcoin, I have Bitcoin I will literally never sell. And yet this other technology, I gotta watch it. I gotta participate in it.
Despite the beating Bitcoin has taken, it has not shattered your underlying belief in the crypto.
Absolutely
correct?
not. And this is, I hope the words find me. Okay, the only Bitcoin that have gone down are the participants who are willing to sell. Sometimes I bring up the analogy of, let's say you live in a neighborhood of 1,000 houses, and they were all built at the same time. We all bought them at $100,000 or something for your house, right? And over time, the value of your houses go up, and one of your neighbors sells their house for $1 million. Everyone thinks their house is worth $1 million, right? Even though maybe there was only one transaction. So the Bitcoin that are 19, 20,000 right now, those are only the ones that people are willing to buy and sell. There's 75, 80 some odd % of Bitcoin that just don't trade. Those are your $1 million Bitcoins that people won't sell until maybe never.
Yeah.
There's probably people listening right now. They're like, mine isn't $1 million Bitcoin. Mine is give it to my grandkids.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Right.
So what's the price of that?
And the same view that a lot of folks hold for gold, right?
Right.
That's where I see the parallels, right? That philosophy. I know a lot of folks are probably thinking, well, what's Eric, the guru here, doing with Bitcoin, which is basically a sleeping beauty right now? I don't know if it's a beauty, but it's definitely asleep. Are you comfortable with your Bitcoin holdings? Would you be adding here? Are you looking for more of a correction? What's going on in your mind?
Dollar cost averaging is king here because we don't know. We're preparing for macro externalities. We've got a war going on at the edge of Europe. We've got macroeconomic wars going on. We've got money sloshing around. Fixing the money problems could exacerbate, could be bigger problems. we've got an everything selling off market, commodities up, everything else down. Are the next wave of solutions going to be worse? So it's possible that Bitcoin could drop. If you have to be a buy the dip-er, then dollar cost averaging isn't going to satisfy you.
Right.
But I think that we have more risk that the basics, limited supply, people that will never sell it are going to start catching up. So if we get a little bit of a rally, we're going to get a big one. And I know I'm taking both sides of this, but if you're active, if you're nimble, this is the word I use is if you care about price, you better be nimble. And if you're not nimble, you don't care about the price. Just keep buying a little bit at a time.
Let's get on the other side of your brain now. Okay, we've discussed the 40%. What seems interesting to you with the other cryptos? Anything that you're eyeing, that you're following, that you're like,
I first off, I like all. Okay, this isn't going to tell anybody anything new. I like Ethereum and all the Ethereum wannabes.
Okay.
Because we need to have so many moles popping their heads up that Gary Gensler can't whack them all, and anybody who's trying to whack the moles, we need multiples of them. But I also like the non-Ethereums, the other chains that are saying we can do this differently. Because right now we're trying to figure out, is there going to be 2 best chains or 3 best chains that come out of this? It's too early to say. So I like all the leaders at this price, at this time.
At this time,
at this price. I think it's time to start soaking back up.
You mentioned regulation. Let's go there for a second. I don't know if we've ever spoken about this. Your views on is it needed for the space? Do you welcome regulation? Do you see it as a positive?
No. We're going to get it. It's coming. They're going to regulate. I may have said this to you before, is they can't regulate Bitcoin, they can't regulate crypto, but they can regulate us, right? So everything you're asking for is, can you regulate me more? People think you're going to regulate cryptocurrencies. Well, cryptocurrencies are global and unstoppable and permissionless. You cannot, by definition, you cannot regulate that. So what they regulate is fiat money moving into it and out of it. Okay, so there's more of that coming. We're going to get regulated like crazy. Remember March of this year, Biden executive order, White House executive order saying we need sustainable, responsible, but we want to dominate digital assets, right? So it's coming, and it's going to be glorious for them. But what's going to happen then is cryptocurrencies are going to go back to basics. There's going to be a freeway heading towards regulation, we want to be like stocks. We want to be, tell us what to do. We want banking hours, et cetera. And then cryptocurrency, the true believers are going to say, you can't stop me. This technology was built for if I have to take an off-ramp and I have to go off and back into the unregulated portion of it, because cryptocurrencies can't be regulated. We can. And that doesn't mean a lot now, but it will. We'll separate back out. We'll go, I don't know if you want to talk about the brokers and the pirates or however you want to separate it out. And I also believe there's a drumbeat for regulation. A lot of really respectable people are saying it's going to be so good when we get regulation.
Right.
2 things you got to keep in mind.
I hear that all the time.
First one is when regulation comes, the ability to get into new deals, startups, launches, IPOs is going to dry up. Anybody who's watching right now who thinks once regulation comes, my broker's going to call me and say, here's this little 100x token. Here's this funny NFT meme. No, if you didn't get access to angel and startup and VC deals before, you're not going to get access once they're all regulated into, in that.
Yeah, there's so much. I find this conversation fascinating because is it protecting the investor from sweeping statements such as mortgage your house and go all in this asset?
Yes.
So
do we need that? Some people do.
Some people do.
And it was why we consider it. Okay, here you go. Here's another dichotomy. World-changing technology, but only put your risk money in it, right? Only put your consider it high risk, but it's a world-changing technology. We've monetized the internet. Big statements like that, right? But consider it, you could lose everything money. That's the part that I think gets lost, is I don't think enough people treat it like, because You could put $10,000 into it, and it becomes 50.
Of course.
But you may not have started with
Right.
50.
Right.
Right? But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's people out there who sweep aside the be cautious when they hear the mortgage your house.
I don't want to, have conjecture here, but do you think it's interesting the timing of talk of regulation? Is there any correlation to talk of a U.S. Central bank digital currency? Is there a link, a bridge? Would they not want a competing asset to that?
The only thing they'll save us
Yes.
from that is incompetence on their part. It's coming. They would want it more than anything. And remember, I said there's two things
Yes.
you need to know about
Yeah.
regulation that are
Yeah.
coming. The first one is you're not going to get access to the good deals. We talked about that. But the regulation that's coming, I really think that the big message that people need to understand is our government really wants this so because it's such a mind-blowing technology that they are thinking that what if we had that capability?
Well, I feel
What if
I
we were
feel
in charge of
concern
that?
from you. I feel your concern. Like, I feel it.
Yeah,
You're worried.
I'm really worried about it. Well, like I said, we're going to head in the direction of brokers and pirates or punk rockers or something. And God save the punks, because that's what this technology was built for.
Yes. Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk some currencies here.
Okay.
Let's talk the pound. Let's talk the pound.
All right. So we.
Some
what
heavy
a difference
topics.
6 months makes,
Yes,
right? Is
yes.
A few months back, we were looking at the pound and thinking, boy, Europe can't keep up with this.
Yeah.
The pound is, it's going to be the strongest currency. It's going to,
Absolutely.
we took a long position in the pound. They were going to be aggressive. They were going to raise rates, right?
Yeah.
The pound was going to be,
Yes.
it was going to soak up.
Yes. Yes to all
Europe.
that.
I think we got into the pound mid 120s-ish. And we were going to ride it. And we got out of the pound with about a 3.5% loss. And thank God for that. Thank the divine intervention, whatever you want, the universe, non-denominational, all right? If you're wrong, take your loss, okay? Except for Bitcoin, ride that forever. But we misjudged how strong the pound could be in this environment. Now the pounds are fighting for parity.
Yeah.
Right, we went down over 20% on that. So we called that one wrong. The hard part is now not kind of, sure, everybody you talk to probably has the same mentality is, how long do I have to wait till I might turn out to have been right?
Right.
Right? Like,
Right.
is there any argument for it? But we got to let go of that for a little while, because right now, with as crazy as it is, 44-day tenures of prime minister, right?
Yeah.
And then hopefully the new prime minister will strengthen it. But that was
Time will tell.
Whew, you got me on that one, because we really thought highly of the pound.
Let's talk euro dollar. Is it going to keep going like this? Like this? What would you draw here?
Okay. I'd like to see tightening, but tightening hurts. And have we lost, as a community society, have we lost our ability to do the right thing even if it hurts?
Oof. Well, this is a whole other interview.
Yeah, it is.
But that is the question. That is the question.
Is there anyone out there who can fight against the strength of the dollar? And if the dollar is two different instruments, right? Day by day, hour by hour, it's a trading vehicle. But on the other hand, if you really think you can put together a conglomeration of BRICS Plus or something, and they can fight the dollar, that's going to be a big fight. And I think the dollar is up for it. And I know it's hard
up for
to
the
say.
fight.
It's up for the fight. And I know that's hard to say. We've had this massive rally, and everyone's tendency is to think, okay, when do we return to the mean, right? But what if the dollar goes higher from here? What if it surprises everyone? You've heard this before, right? Max Payne. Is Max Payne the dollar turning around after a rally? Max Payne is not turnaround. Max Payne is not go back to the mean. Max Payne is dollar doubles. That's outrageous. Dollar can't do that. if you're not prepared for what if the dollar rises from here, take a second look.
Let's wrap with this then, because you mentioned gold briefly at the start. I know there's a place in your heart for it. How big is that place right now?
I love gold. If you don't own gold, ask yourself why. And I love gold, and I could be wrong. Okay, here's one of the nice things about gold. You'll be wrong for a decade, and then when you're right, it pays for itself. So I haven't talked to anybody about this. I think I saved this for talking about you, talking to you. Yeah. 1971, everybody knows, okay? Right. Let me set it up for the 7 people who haven't heard this. 1971, pulled off the gold standard, gold was $35 an ounce.
That's right.
Right? You know where we're at now? Let's call it 16, 17,
yes.
100.
Yes.
When gold hits $3,500 an ounce, that will be a 99% collapse of the dollar versus gold. $3,500 an ounce. Is that even within the realm of possibility? Okay, that's ridiculous, Eric. Gold isn't going to double, but we are literally one double away from a 99% collapse in the dollar versus gold. So think in terms of K-wave, decades. Yeah. Yes, I like gold.
It's funny you say that because when I started covering gold, it was around $800 an ounce. That's when I started getting into gold. And talk of $1,000 gold was insanity.
Right.
And did we double from $800 an ounce?
Yeah.
We did, right?
Yeah. So one more double, and that's a 99% collapse in the dollar.
So I know things sound crazy in a moment, but sometimes it pans out.
Yeah.
Is the lesson, I think.
Yeah. And anybody who's worried about regulation,
and it could go down the other side too.
Here's a hopeful thought.
Yeah.
Let's try to close on something positive.
Yes.
I believe all this clamor for regulation might temper a little bit. I'm optimistic. You can't be in cryptos and gold without have an optimistic bone. I believe a lot of it is because prices are down. And I believe all of this clawing for regulation and please somebody be more in charge, I think some of that's going to die down as prices start to rise. And so that's what I'm holding out hope for, is that we don't necessarily have to have that terrible schism in blockchain and cryptocurrencies where half of it heads to Wall Street and the other half goes underground. If prices can get up a little bit, maybe the cries for more regulation will die down a little bit.
Eric, it's an incredible pleasure speaking with you. You are awesome. You are awesome.
You ask great questions.
Come back more often. Eric Wade, editor of Crypto Capital and Crypto Cash Flow. Catch him on Stansberry Research. And stay tuned for more great content on the Daniela Cambone Show here on Stansberry Research. And you can sign up at danielacambone.com to stay on top of it all. That's it for us. Thanks for watching.
Opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the contributor and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Stansberry Research, its parent company, or affiliates.